Role of the African Union Chairperson, a beacon of leadership. The AU Chairperson is at the helm of the African Union Commission, AUC, guiding Africa towards a unified and prosperous future. This position wields significant influence over the continent's policies and international stature, and sustainable development. This agenda is Africa's blueprint for transforming into a global powerhouse of the future. Conflict resolution and security. In a continent rife with diverse challenges, the chairperson plays a crucial role in mediating conflicts, overseeing peacekeeping operations, and collaborating with the AU Peace and Security Council to foster stability and peace. Economic and trade development. The leader is instrumental in bolstering the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, and advocating for investment in critical infrastructure and industrialization, driving economic growth and creating jobs. International diplomacy representing Africa on the world stage, the chairperson engages in global summits such as the G20, United Nations, UN, COP, BRICS, and the World Economic Forum, voicing the continent's interests and advocating for fair treatment, economic growth and creating jobs. International diplomacy representing Africa on the world stage, the chairperson engages in global summits such as the G20, United Nations, UN, COP, BRICS, and the World Economic Forum, voicing the continent's interests and advocating for fair treatment in international affairs. Health and humanitarian crisis response. Coordinating the AU's efforts in responding to pandemics, food crises, and climate disasters, the chairperson's role is pivotal in safeguarding the well-being of African citizens. Candidates for the next AU chairperson. The Eastern African region is set to produce the next chairperson, with three notable contenders: Raila Odinga, Kenya, former Prime Minister of Kenya, seasoned politician, and AU High Representative for Infrastructure Development in Africa, 2018-2023. Mahamoud Ali Youssouf, Djibouti, is a long-serving foreign minister of Djib with deep diplomatic expertise and a focus on security and regional cooperation. Richard Randriamandrato, Madagascar, former foreign minister with a solid background in economic policy and regional infrastructure development. Other key elections at the summit. In addition to the chairperson role, several other significant leadership positions are up for election. AU Deputy Chairperson, Northern Africa, Algeria, Ambassador Salah Francis El Hamdi, Ambassador Salma Malika Haddadi, Egypt, Mohammed Ahmed Fatih Edris, Dr. Hanan Morsi Libya, Najat Hajjaji, Morocco, Latifa Akharbach. 6 AU Commissioner roles positions overseeing agriculture, rural development, blue economy, and sustainable environment, ARBE, economic development, trade, industry, mining, ETIM, education, science, technology innovation, ESTI, infrastructure and energy, political affairs, peace and security, PAPS, health, humanitarian affairs, social development, HHS. Why this summit matters to Africans. The outcomes of these elections will shape Africa's future in crucial areas. Better trade and jobs influencing job creation, trade expansion, and industrial growth across the continent. Improved security playing a vital role in conflict resolution and preventing instability. Stronger global influence representing Africa at global summits, advocating for fair trade, climate financing, and a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. Infrastructure and development driving the expansion of roads, railways, energy, and digital infrastructure, essential for Africa's long-term growth. Stay tuned to Afrique24 for ongoing coverage of the AU Summit and the significant leadership elections shaping the future of Africa. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth analysis.
All right. Welcome to Afrique24, and this is your #1 YouTube channel. And today I'm joined by my friend here, Jeff Mburu, and we'll be discussing what really transpired today. And most of the country is mourning following the loss of Raila Odinga, the former prime minister, just considered defeat in the African Union Commission chairmanship elections that was held today. Raila congratulated, of course, Mohamed Ali Youssouf from Djibouti, who won the competitive race. And we wish all the best for Raila Odinga and the entourage that was in Ethiopia to support Baba. But with that said, let us dive into the issues and see what really transpired in these elections. Maybe Mburu, you can introduce yourself. And my first question to you would be, what do you think of this outcome of this election?
Thank you so much, Mzalendo, for the opportunity and also for inviting me to be together with you as we look at what really transpired today at Ethiopia, where one of us, Raila Odinga, was contesting to become the AUC chairperson. And I want to let Kenyans know that the race for the AU chairperson position is not a straightforward contest, because in this contest we have several nations, and those nations have interests. So it is not about the influence of one person or two people, because many people were banking on the influence of Baba here in Kenya, and also the influence of our president, William Ruto. And I have always kept telling people here in this show that we were doing a miscalculation, because those nations, they have their own interests, they have their own alliances, and some of them vote as a bloc. So because of that reason, that is why Baba lost. But when I think of this loss, I think in as much as it is affecting Baba in a way, because he was the one who was going to become the chairperson, it is going to affect Raila Odinga, not Raila Odinga, but William Ruto more, because William Ruto was banking on the votes of Baba to continue in 2027. Now we don't know what is likely to unfold when Baba comes back. And also remember, we already have some kind of conflict in parliament, because the court has already declared that the Azimio team is the one that is supposed to be holding the majority position. So William Ruto will be having a very hard time. So this loss is more of Ruto loss than it is for Baba. That is what I think.
Yeah, thank you, Mburu. And you know, the funny thing, in the first round, Raila was leading. Raila led in 2 rounds,
Yes.
where he got 23. At one point, he had Youssouf had 23 and Raila 20. Now that is when Youssouf started gaining more momentum. The other candidate who was eliminated was from Madagascar. The guy called Richard from Madagascar. His other name is so long. Richard was eliminated in the 3rd round. Now this tells you, I don't know why this election has to go up to 7 rounds. If it was ending in the 1st round, then Raila would have easily won, and the 2nd. So they went all the way head to head with Youssouf, and Youssouf gained momentum. I personally think ECOWAS and the SADC played a very crucial role in Raila, in Youssouf's win in this election. Or Mburu, what do you think about this, the role of SADC? People like South Africa. Do you think, I also have a strong feeling like countries like Tanzania might not even have voted for Raila Odinga because Tanzania is a member of SADC. Yeah. So what do you think about this regional balance here?
One, I'll have to tell you about the threshold. There is the threshold. That's why they had to go for 7 louds. The person to become the chair had to get at least that 3 votes and above, of which in the first loud and the second loud, nobody garnered that 3 votes that were required. As I said, those alliances, they vote as a bloc. So the alliance on the other side was more stronger than the East African alliance. So Baba was banking on campaigning on to those presidents individually. And he thought that by meeting them personally, they were going to change their voting bloc, which did not happen. However, I would like to say it is a good thing to try. It's a good thing to try. Kenya was counted as among those that were participated in that election, which is very, very important. So for me, I think it takes courage for someone to say, I am going to be a candidate, and even campaigning all through to the end. That is a good thing. It's a good picture. And that does not mean that we have lost everything. We gained in so many other positions in Africa. We got so many other positions. Apart from that, I would also like to say that for me, and I have been consistent on this, I think we need Raila Odinga in Kenya than we needed him to be the chairperson of the Commission of African Union. Because here in Kenya, when he is here, he is able to put the government into checks and balances. Nobody can fit in the shoes of Raila Odinga in as far as putting the government where it belongs. The government of William Ruto has been overstepping because nobody has been checking what it is doing. Corruption has been thriving because nobody was in a position to do what Raila Odinga has been doing in Kenya. So now that he will be back in Kenya, I know even the government of William Ruto will be careful on how they'll be handling some of these things. So I think it is a benefit to Kenya. It's unfortunate for William Ruto group, but it's a benefit to Kenya for Raila Odinga to be here because he puts many things into the right perspective. Yes, Mzalendo.
Yeah, I think for many, there are mixed issues here. There are many people who would have wanted Raila to win that particular seat. And there are also others who wanted Raila to be back here so that he can put the government on check. There are also people who depend on his voice when it comes to political matters, especially people from the ODM party. A good number of them, remember, he has been helping them win grassroots support because Raila's word in his strongholds is like law. He's been helping them to win the grassroots support. So how they were going to navigate the changes if Raila won is something we were yet to see. But I personally wanted Raila to win this particular seat so that we can see what this other candidate can do without Raila's backing. Yeah.
You see, Mzalendo, the reason why I have said it is very unfortunate for the government, it is because I think in their negotiation as to the reason why Raila Odinga accepted to work with Ruto is that he was promised by the government that we are going to campaign for you until you become the AUC chair. Now that that has not happened, they will have to go back on the drawing board. What does that mean? There is going to be casualties. maybe some people will be told either to step down. Maybe, I'm just guessing, someone like Kithure Kindiki should step down if that coalition of the broad-based government is to continue, and leave that position for Baba. That is something that is likely to happen. And also, Raila Odinga might decide now that whatever we negotiated, you have not fulfilled, it has not happened. I am also going to be on the race in 2027. You know, the funny thing is that though Baba is old in age, he doesn't look like that. He's a very strong guy. And you see how he has traversed the whole of Africa campaigning. So there is also a possibility that Baba will make now local alliances. You won't be surprised. He can even join with someone like Gachagua. And you know, if he makes alliance with Gachagua, there is a high possibility Gachagua will not be in the ballot because he was impeached. And there is a high possibility this time around because the Central Kenya people are tired with Ruto. They are likely to support Raila Odinga. Don't be surprised, 100%, because they feel that Ruto is not an honest person. He cannot keep promises, and now they want to try anybody else except Ruto. So if Baba can make a coalition with Gachagua, they will send Ruto home, and Baba can still become the president of Kenya in 2027. That's a possibility. And I also think that he can also decide to retire from politics and support somebody else like Kalonzo Musyoka. You know, so Kalonzo is someone who has supported Baba for many, many years. He can decide now, I am going to pay back. He can also decide now, because Ruto really tried to campaign for him, he might decide, let me support Ruto and work with him and see how we can manage the Kenyan politics. But for me, I would think the best way is for him to start on his own, to continue solidifying his party, the ODM party. They should go to parliament, get their majority position as the court pronounced itself. Yeah, because it is politics, and politics is about interest.
you know, there is a very a strong feeling that Raila Odinga will support Ruto to the end because of the kind of support that William Ruto gave him. Now there is also
it was a bargain. It was a bargain.
There is also, yeah, it was a bargain. There is also that point that you are bringing in, which I find very ridiculous, that Raila to support Gachagua. I don't think from
Gachagua, it is Gachagua. Gachagua can easily support Raila Odinga because the aim here
Raila to what? So that Raila gets what?
To become the president. The aim here is not who is going to become the president.
You are seeing a Raila presidency in 2027 if Gachagua supports it.
It is, yes, it is very possible. Remember.
No. You know, Gachagua Raila tried to climb the mountain, and it was very, very slippery. So who tells you? And they were climbing with Uhuru Kenyatta. So who was
he followed the wrong route.
No. What the same reasons you didn't vote for Raila, the same reasons Central didn't vote for Raila, are the same reasons they're not going to vote for him.
You see, Mzalendo, let me tell you,
yes,
things don't remain static. Politics are very dynamic. Things change. During Uhuru's time, there is a reason why people did not vote for Raila Odinga, not because they hated him. It is because of the approach. One, Uhuru had already rejected his leaders, the people who had campaigned for him. He disrespected them. He never took them on a negotiation table before bringing Raila Odinga into government. Apart from that, after the handshake, Uhuru Kenyatta became very arrogant to other leaders, and people felt bad about how he handled William Ruto. So the only thing Raila Odinga is supposed to do is to check the mistakes that they made with Uhuru Kenyatta and rectify that. If today Raila Odinga can team up with Kalonzo Musyoka, team up with Gachagua, team up with those other leaders who are not supporting the government, it won't matter who is going to be the president. What will matter is what kind of a coalition are they going to form? Because the objective will be, they know very well that this William Ruto is a very strong person. He knows how to campaign. He use every strategy to retain his position. Now the issue will be, how do we remove this person from power? They can make such a huge and a strong coalition which can see Baba become the president of Kenya. That is a possibility. Nothing is impossible with the right approach to the people.
You know, there is, and I want you to be honest in this, there is a very strong feeling among Baba's supporters that the Kikuyu community cannot support a Luo.
Who said that? That is a lie.
Many of Raila's supporters believe.
Do you know around 1.5? Do you know around 1.5 million Kikuyus in central Kenya voted for Raila Odinga in the last general election?
Yeah, that 1.5 million could be the Luyas and the Luos and other communities.
No. Let me tell you.
You know, when you want to quantify that, you will not. You can't prove that. That one you can't prove that they were Kikuyu.
No, I am a Kikuyu.
For example, in Kiambu, how many other tribes live in Kiambu and Thika? For example, how many other tribes live in Thika?
I am not disputing. I am not disputing. There are many people from other regions, but I want you to know that equally, a good number of Kikuyus supported Raila Odinga. That is a fact. Even leaders, he had a good team of leaders from central Kenya, including Sabina Chege, including Kanini Kega, and many others.
So what happened? Muru, what happened? What really happened then?
What happened is that, number one, the approach of the president. People were already disgusted with the way the president was talking. Uhuru Kenyatta, people felt like he was being arrogant to them and to the leaders who supported him to become the president. So the support of Uhuru Kenyatta to Raila Odinga was undoing. It was not doing him any favor. When they were forming the coalition, they did not involve the people who supported Uhuru Kenyatta to become the president. It's like they thought they are very strong, the two of them, that so long as they shake the hands, anybody else will not matter. That was a miscalculation. What I want to tell you, if Raila comes to central Kenya through the right channel right now, you look at who is that person that the people want. In 2022, the people wanted Ruto because when they were campaigning with Uhuru had promised publicly that he was going to support Ruto in 2022. So when Uhuru changed the mind, people did not change the mind. You see? So today, things have changed. Central Kenya people feel that they don't want the government of Ruto because Ruto has betrayed Gachagua, and by betraying Gachagua, he has betrayed a community. Because remember, it was a deal, it was a negotiation, it was not a Ruto's government, it was a coalition government of communities. So if Raila Odinga will use the right channel, the right route of Gachagua, because what right now people want in central Kenya is to remove Ruto from power, because they perceive Ruto as a liar, as someone who cannot be trusted, someone who cannot keep promises. So if Raila Odinga can team up with Gachagua, I can tell you, he will be the next president of Kenya. Because right now people are saying, we are following Gachagua. We don't know where he will take us, But whatever he will tell us to do, we shall do that in order to punish this guy who has decided to betray this community. So I am just giving you a possibility. It is not a must, but it's a possibility that Raila Odinga, this is the, right now Central Kenya has no presidential candidate. We are even prepared to support Kalonzo Musyoka. Why not Raila Odinga? I would be the first person to vote for him. Because even the fear that people had before, you know, when Raila, the previous elections, Raila used to campaign against the Kikuyu so much. And that is why you feel like people never trusted him. With his age now, people will see, and the kind of coalition they can make, people will feel protected. So Kikuyus don't hate Raila Odinga. We still remember the person who said Kibaki Tosha when he was in a wheelchair. It is not that Kikuyus have never worked with rules. Remember, the first government in Kenya was of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And who? And Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as the vice. So even now, it is still possible. As I keep telling people, politics is a game of numbers. And most of the time, it is all about strategies. The strategy of 2022 was a wrong strategy. If Raila Odinga teamed with Ruto, because that is the person the people of Central wanted, and they're the people with more majority of votes, there was a possibility of him getting more votes. So it's all about the kind of coalition they are going to make. If Raila Odinga is going to be with the people, whom the people want right now, if we can team up with someone like, I'm talking of Central Kenya. In Central Kenya, if he team up with someone like Gathoni wa Mushomba, someone like Karongo Adhangwa, someone like Gachagua, and all those people.
Who is Karungu Wagadang? Who are those creatures?
No, no, those are the people. Those are the people. People are calling the Wamunyoro Brigade. That is those are the
Wamunyoro Brigade.
Right now, let me tell you the truth, because I'm on the ground. You know, the other times I talk when I'm in America, and sometimes there are some few things I may not be knowing. Right now, I'm in Kiabu, and I'm listening to the people. Right now, anybody who is not behind Gachagua, I can tell you, and you can put it on the bank, withdraw it in 2027. Anybody who will not be in Gachagua's team will not be elected in 2027. The ground is very hostile to the Kimani Ichung'was, very hostile. So, because after being impeached, unless the court changes that, Gachagua cannot contest as a president, then he can support anybody who has votes to remove Ruto. Because one, he has vigilance. And number two, he also wants to be in that government in whichever capacity. And right now, he has the votes. So, Raila Odinga, with his strong base, you know, Raila Odinga is a very strong politician. He has like 6-7 million votes. If you add that to what Gachagua is having right now, oh my God, he'll be the next president of Kenya. I'm just giving that as a possibility.
I have looked at this.
Yes.
I look at this extensively about the numbers you are talking about, and I also look at the voter apathy. Should Raila be on the ballot as the candidate for the Kikuyu community? How will the voting pattern shift? Now, there will be a lot of voter apathy in the Kikuyu community if Raila is on the ballot with Gachagua backing him. They will elect all those leaders you are talking about. They will elect them.
Ruto will be alone. Right now.
Let me tell you what will happen. What I think, maybe this is my thought, what might happen. Okay, Raila will get a sizable amount of vote, but not the millions you are talking about, like the whole amount it will be divided between the two of them.
You see, Raila Odinga himself, it's very easy to get 5 million votes and above. How many votes does he require more for him to become the president?
That's where I was coming. This is what most politicians like yourself. This is what you are missing before you finish. This is what every other politician is missing. Yes, in 2022, the voting patterns were the same. In 2027, the voting pattern is totally different. There's a new kid on the block called the Gen Zs.
Don't keep reminding me about Gen Zs.
I am telling you, these kids
we have not tested them. We have not tested them to see what
that is why you are going to test their wrath in 2027.
Now, before you tell me about the Gen Zs are still leaderless. They are still focusless, because even the people we thought they are leading them today, they are with Baba. Tumeona Kasamuel, munakaita Kasamuel kakikura Mahamoud. Dakuwa dege.
alikuwa Ibishi, alikuwa Ethiopia, anakula anjera.
I mean, if those are the people we are expecting to lead the Gen Z movement, then they are doomed.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. It's okay. But in leadership, for you to become anything, you must be principled. Those people, we thought they are principled, we thought they are focused, we thought they know where they were going. Only to realize they are just hungry, that with few coins they can change their course. This what I was saying is that nobody can deny that right now in central Kenya, Gachagua is a very strong leader, because we measure how strong you are on how many people are likely to follow you. If you tell them follow this direction, they're gonna follow you. You see, we don't have another person of that position or that caliber in central Kenya. So whoever he is going to support is going to get from 5 million votes and above. It doesn't matter who that person is going to be. It might be Kalonzo Musyoka. So that person who will be supported by Central Kenya, because I am sure Central Kenya has decided they are not going to support William Ruto. I'm talking from the ground. So that person who is going to be supported by Central Kenya will only top up those votes. And from the narrative on the ground is that it's not a must we get the presidency, but we don't need William Ruto, who seems not to be keen to fulfill the promises that he had promised the people of this region. Remember, Mzalendo, there are roads that Uhuru Kenyatta had started. When William Ruto came, all of them stalled. They stopped. I drove from Thika using that the Karura, not Karura, but it is called Kamae Forest, from Thika to Gakoe, Mwangi, that road up to the highway the other side. That road is very bad. The tractors are still there. The road is full of potholes. That project stopped from the time Ruto gained power. So many roads in central Kenya stopped when he became the president. And people are saying, this president does not mean good to us. So we need anybody else who can keep promises. If that person is going to be Raila Odinga to save us from the government of William Ruto, they are going to vote for him. So you won't be surprised that Baba can be accepted this time around in central Kenya, just to push Ruto out of power. Because it's all about interest. There is nothing like hatred. You know, if there was somebody who was hated in 2027, not 2027, 207, was William Ruto. Nobody in central Kenya wanted to hear the name Ruto. But see the kind of numbers he got in 2022. So politics are very dynamic. It's what matters is all about how you arrange yourselves and the strategies you are going to employ. So if Baba right now can start befriending those people that are right on the ground, he already has numbers. Baba already, in his basket, he has like 6 million votes. How many votes does he require to become the president? Like 4 million votes or 3 million votes from Central Kenya. And he'll become the president automatically. Just half of what Ruto got, added to the number that Baba has, he can easily become the president. That was just a possibility. We can go ahead and discuss something else.
I like your analysis and your belief that if central people can support Raila, then he will become the president. I think that would have happened many years ago, just after Kibaki. After Kibaki, then I would have said, yes, Kibaki is the one who brought this bad omen. If Kibaki...
I know you read the Bible. The Bible says there is time for everything. This is the time that Central Kenya is looking for.
I don't know. You are more mocking Raila, because you know very well that Raila's age and time right now is not on his side. So stop mocking Raila Odinga. I can read your line.
No.
I don't think it is right, because the right time when you are supposed to give Raila the votes, you did it. As Central Kenya, you didn't. He came just in
how old was Joe Biden? Mzalendo, how old was Joe Biden? How old was Joe Biden when he became the president?
When he was 78.
78.
Yeah.
How old is Raila Odinga?
He's heading to 80.
The same age.
He's 80 years old. He's 80 years old.
It's not about age. It's all about mental capability.
Let me give the central people something that they can honor Baba with, without a lot of fight. If we can change the constitution and allow a ceremonial prime minister the way it had been proposed in BBI, then allow hata Baba akae hapo until he probably dies in that seat. Maybe that is the best honor that we can give this guy.
That also is possible.
I think every other Kenyan, look at the way Baba has suffered losses in this country. From 1992 up to date, this guy has been trying to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. The closest he came, ananyang'anywa live ananyang'anywa hata si live, but now when hata hii kitu kadogo hii alikuwa nataka hii ya AUC tena, hiyo pia the devil just comes in the way and rips it from his mouth. Hizi tulijua Baba.
I thought hata hiyo utasema amenyang'anywa.
Hii unaona ni shetani, kaka shetani kengine tu kanafuataga Raila Odinga, hata sijui ni gani. Angalia hiki wewe, angalia Sadak changed their decision the last minute that they are going to vote for Youssouf and not Raila Odinga. Haya, angalia hii vita ya DRC na Congo. That thing was not there. Wewe wakati wa hii Raila anaenda kusimama, ndio unasikia kuna kovita Congo, na unasikia Kagame sasa ameanza kukosana na watu wengine, regional leaders ameanza kukosana nao. Kagame anaonekana na Raila akipiga picha, huyu ni candidate wetu, na anasema on TV that we will support Raila Odinga, and this guy has created enemies already. So sometimes I think that Ruto guys would have gone silent with this candidate of Raila. Wangenyamaza tu, angeenda kila saa kupublish na nini. Then some busy bodies pia wanabebana wanaenda huko Addis Ababa. Of course with a lot of noise like Gor Mahia supporters. Yani wameenda huko. This is something that you only need your family to go there. Wakuone ukishinda ama ukishindwa. Lakini that entourage was not necessary. I'm telling you, it was not necessary. You know, we look stupid in the world stage. Hebu niambia watu wa Djibouti walikuwa hapo. Because mimi nilikuwa naona wa Kenya peke yake. Wamejaa kwa ukumbi wa election ni kama sijui nini. I think sometimes we have this primitive culture that we need to deal with. You know, whether that thing was necessary at watu waende hivyo. Aya, hii Amina had his elections. Unaona huyu Amina Abdallah was contesting the same seat. Let me tell you, when Amina lost the seat, nobody even knew that Amina has lost the seat. Na alipoteza hiyo kiti na akaenda kabisa. Ushaisikia mambo ya Amina tena?
No.
Uhuru campaigned for Amina.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
He campaigned very, very silently for Amina. But the same demon of SADC and ECOWAS, same demon of SADC and ECOWAS.
So SADC was, Mzalendo, we have been doing this analysis here. And we said because of SADC and ECOWAS, it was going to be very hard for Raila Odinga to win that position because these are alliances and they vote as a bloc. So there is no way we can say we're in the same team, but some members of the team are going to vote for somebody else. So all those, especially the Muslim countries, they are very strong in their arrangements. So for me, and I have said it here time and again, it was going to be very hard for Raila Odinga to become the AC chair.
Moro,
but I want to say this.
Moro, just a minute before I know you have a trail of thought, but let me ask you.
Yes.
Djibouti, is it in North Africa or is it in East Africa?
I have not checked, but it's not in East. It is not in East Africa. Yes, you know that.
It's not in East Africa. Now, Skia, the sad reality why this thing is so very bad. Do you know the deputy for the chair, Youssouf, will come from North Africa? The deputy must come from North Africa, and these are the candidates. This is Mohamed Ahmed Fathi Idris, AU deputy, North Africa. This is another one, Najat Ajaji, AU deputy chairperson, Uyupia, North Africa. This is another candidate, Latifa Akbarach, AU chairperson, North Africa. And this is the last one, Ambassador Salome Malik Aded, AU chairperson, North Africa. The one is from Libya, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria. They are all so in that AU commission, they will all be from North Africa.
So what is supposed to happen? The composition of the constitution or whatever law they follow is the one which is supposed to be rectified to solve that problem. Because we are supposed to have representations from each and every corner of Africa. Right now, we don't feel represented. But what can we do about it? It's all about the constitution. If the constitution has not put the parameters that are supposed to be followed to ensure representation, then we have no one to blame. So, Mzalendo, I just wanted to say two things. That this is the right time for Raila Odinga to make new alliances. When I look at him, he's still very strong. He can make new alliance in Kenya. The other thing I wanted to say is that Raila Odinga right now will be the most powerful person in Kenya because William Ruto knows without Raila Odinga on his side, he is going to be a very weak president with a very weak government. So William Ruto must do everything that Raila Odinga is going to ask for. Whatever position that he will want, he will have to do it. Even in parliament, they must release that position of the majority or whatever position. Everything that Raila Odinga will be wanting in this government, Ruto has no choice. He has to say yes, yes. Reason being, he is banking on Raila Odinga for survival. Central Kenya, we have deserted him. So if Raila Odinga withdraws his support, he is finished. He can even be thrown out before 2027.
All right, let me invite Boni Odinga. Boni Odinga, karibu sana Afrika. I used to have a friend of mine called Boni Odinga. He now runs the communication somewhere in the government. Now, karibu sana Boni. Tell us your opinion about this election. But first, before you say a word, I want our viewers who are watching on Mtembei platform to subscribe on Afrique. If you're watching on Mtembei and you've not subscribed on this particular channel, Afrique 24, I have sent you the link out there. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. If you leave for us a comment on this channel, we will be able to reply to your comment and also put it on air so that your views can be counted. Now, let me play for you what Raila had to say after losing the elections in Ethiopia.
Leaders of the African continent have gathered today to elect a new leader who is going to take over from the outgoing leader. I had offered myself as a candidate, and over the last few months I've run around the continent talking to leadership of the continent, canvassing for their votes. Today they have expressed themselves, and as it is now, we did not succeed. They will say that we must strengthen democracy in the African continent, and therefore myself conceding defeat, and I want us to use this as an example of strengthening democracy in our continent. I therefore want to wish my competitor Ali Youssouf all the best. We want to wish him success in his undertaking. And we also want to thank all those members or countries who voted for me. I also want to thank those who did not vote for me, because in doing so, they were exercising their democratic right. That's how democracy should work in our continent. We should strengthen it. So I'm very grateful for the exercise here today. I thank the people. I thank the people of Africa. And to say, Viva l'Afrique libre. Thank you.
Well, that was Raila Odinga conceding defeat, and that was very, very patriotic and democratic. And that is how elections should be held across Africa, and even the local elections. When you're defeated, you congratulate the winner, and you move on. So, Baba, congratulations for fighting a good fight, but it was not your turn to be the AUC Commission chair. Maybe next time somebody from Kenya will manage to get that particular position. But we have learned also our lessons that not everybody you knock to their door will give you support at the end of the day. So we need to be careful and change our strategies when it comes to these elections of AUC. I think we have been beaten twice now. So the third time we might take this seat. Boni, karibu sana, and give us your opinion on this particular matter.
Asante sana Mzalendo, and good evening, good afternoon to the viewers of Afrique 24. Mine is just short. As a Raila supporter, I feel so bad. I was following those votes, and we are so shocked because of what happened, because William Ruto promised that he will deliver when it comes to supporting Baba in this AUC chairmanship. But of course, we lost as Baba Raila Odinga We have been used to this. When I started voting, then we have been losing the elections when Raila Omolo Odinga vice. But this one hurts more. And because Raila, he tried his own best when it comes to campaigning for this AUC, and also the president had promised that he will deliver. But at the end of the day, Raila lost to the Djibouti guy. But we have the Francophone countries. I was following some of the statistics, and they said that the Francophone countries voted for the Djibouti guy. That is why he won. And that is also a main reason that really contributed to Raila conceding to that AUC sheet. And of course, he said that he has accepted that. But you can see from the on look, his face tells that he is so sad. We are not used to, as a human being, you cannot just keep on losing. You can also hang yourself. You can commit suicide, because how can you start losing to 1992, 1997, 2002, 2007, 2013, 20? It really demoralizes you as a human being, of course, because where did you went wrong as a human being? Or is that Baba does not have luck? Because I really thought that he will get this president of Africa, but now he lost. Me personally, I was hurt after I saw those run 1, run 2. I was really shocked because why? I've also seen the tweet from the, I had no network, but immediately last 5 minutes ago, I've seen a tweet from President of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, and it's like Tanzania really betrayed us. They did not vote for Baba. I've also seen the tweet from Kagame. Museveni personally did not go there, and he was there in Nairobi when we were launching the campaign for Baba. What does that mean? It means that East Africa, we are not united. That is what I have just concluded. Because if we are united in East Africa, then this Kagame could also have campaigned for Baba in the South Africa countries. But now we have not seen that. We have also seen some of the presidents over there. They were trying to act like they support Baba, then they did not. I've also talked to Professor Ogola, and the professor told me that he is also mad of what happened. He thought that Baba also will win, but now he said that Baba, now it's that time he will focus with what he want in this life. Either he go home or he make a team of youth that will change Kenya, because we are having a lot of problems. Ogola also told me that we need someone who will not be involved in this government, someone who can transform this country, someone who has not been in the government. That is what Professor told me. And I have also told him that I will invite him, but I called him after that because I saw the post from his Twitter, and also he was at one of the ministry media houses analyzing after Baba lost. So that is when I saw him, and then after that I called him. So he told me that. But from my own point of view, I'm sad. Baba lost. I felt sad. 2022, I felt a lot of. I thought I could also go there and campaign for Baba and say that we have been hijacked these votes, because I thought that when we had that conference in the ICC, in the KCC, we have won. Now we have not even won this Africa. 55 countries cannot vote for Baba. Where did we went wrong? That is the question. Or we are too good for other countries. Baba is so nice. Otherwise, we say that being nice, it will not give you anything. Sometimes you have to be harsh. Sometimes you have to be harsh.
I am just asking you. Too nice for?
You are too nice to
translate
people,
that
they will
from your
local
language. Too nice to be what?
Don't be too nice to people. I'm saying you should not be nice to people, because sometimes people will misinterpret you, and that is why people are saying that if Baba could have gone into these campaigns alone without support from William Ruto,
exactly, you are right.
So William Ruto, of course, other countries, they have been seeing what is happening in this country. They have seen the kind of corruption that are being mentioned all over this country. So they are also aware that Kenya is a very corrupt country. So if Baba then goes to that way, then they know that Baba will also be corrupt. That is why these countries, they have not voted for Baba.
You know, Mburu, Boni has brought in a very important aspect of this election that nobody is seeing. That Kenya is a very corrupt country, and Baba was going to be in charge of the finances of AUC. Do you know he was the one who is going to be in charge now, charged with finances of that organization, the entire organization, and the administration of the funds in the entire organization. And because of the corruption in Kenya, hizi nchi zingine zikasema hai hapana. In fact, the Muslim countries, they said bwana, that country, hiyo country bwana, hiyo country ni nchi ya wafisadi. Hiyo mnaweka fisi kwa nini, kwa jikoni ya nyama, alafu asubuhi mnataka kukuye nyama ikue, ama unaweka fisi kwa zizi za mbuzi eh? I think that is a very interesting perspective, Boni, and thank you for that. Mburu, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes,
no, mimi unajua niko na hasira, mimi sijamaliza. Nini mzalendo?
Boni, it's fine. You can take a cup of water as we proceed.
Baba amepoteza na mimi Baba amepoteza. No. Baba amepoteza na mimi sijafurahia. Na kama Baba angeenda peke yake, angeshinda hii kitu mapema sana. Angejipigia campaign, hakuna pesa akona ndege mingi sana, angejipigia campaign. Hata mbona aliingia kwa huyu mtu? Mtu anafanya akapoteza. Because watu wanajua sana akiingia pale, if Baba gets to this, then Ruto atakuwa pia anamwambia channel tujue kata hizo pesa, kata nini tuelete hapa kwa sijui nini because ni corrupt, hata government ni corrupt. Raila leo hiyo press nimeiona akiongea na mimi sijafurahia ukweli. Kwanza vile Citizen TV ilileta hizo breaking news, kwa nafurahia ati habari za hivi sasa. Anyway, Baba lost, we keep to fight for another day. Let the Djibouti guy work over there. Asante sana.
Wow, that is Boni. So, Mzalendo, I have many things I can say. I'll start with what Boni said about corruption. Yes, I agree that our reputation out there is not very good. And because I've been following even the kind of politics we have been doing, especially during that campaign for AU, we even tried to import our corruption. We have even tried to bribe. I know that we even tried to bribe those presidents and everybody who was going to be involved in that election.
Really?
But saying that, Baba lost because of William Ruto, I can say without William Ruto proposing to Baba that he can become the AUC chair, then Baba was not going to frontier or even attempt. So what I think the best way to say is that William Ruto was campaigning for Baba genuinely. He wanted him to become the chairperson out there because he didn't want him to be in the local politics. So I think the other thing which has happened today, there has been a notion with so many people that Ruto cannot fail. People have been saying, oh, because he's the one spearheading these elections, the campaign, Baba was going to win. So there is a demonstration there that anybody can lose an election, even including William Ruto. And it's also a good demonstration because it will give people the confidence to run against him in 2027 because they have seen he can also lose an election. The other thing, and my final point on this is that I think the best way for Baba to continue having a strong personality politically and internationally is to refuse to work with William Ruto. I think if he works with William Ruto, the only thing he will offer to Baba is to taint his name, as his name is already tainted. William Ruto should not be supported by Baba because this is someone who is being associated with the abductions that have happened in this country. He has been associated with the disappearances that has happened in this country. He has been associated with deceiving the mama bogas, the border people, the poor people that he promised he is going to ensure that they have money in their pockets. Right now, Mzalendo people are really suffering. So the president who cannot keep promises, the president who's under his watch, we have lost many young people. Under his watch, many people have been abducted against the law. Under his watch, many bad things, corruption has really increased. He is someone who has been ranked second, robbery, as the most corrupt leader in the world, not in Africa. I think if Baba supports him, he will taint his name. What he should do is to refuse to work with the government of William Ruto in order to solidify his legacy before he exits active politics. That is what I think, Mzalendo.
You know, I don't. This relationship has gone too far for them to exit because one, Baba has got his foot soldiers working for William Ruto's government, and even recently or the future appointments, if they're still together, then we'll see majority of his supporters joining government. Having said that, whatever you have said can also happen. But for me, the way I look at Raila Odinga is somebody who can now create or pass on the baton. A good dancer knows the right time to leave the stage. We cannot go on with Raila Odinga in 2027, but we can go on with a man or a young man that is ready to support. That way, he will have cemented his legacy. And this person is likely to win the elections. And I said it many times on my forums that Sifuna or Babu Owino will become president before any other person in ODM. And people thought it was a joke. But
in
now,
2060.
No.
Those are political babies.
Let me tell you one thing. Do you know the mindset of Kenyans today? There is nothing like politics that works in Kenya. Mburu, that is why you are losing it. There is nothing like a politician that is working for the people of Kenya today. That's the bottom line. They are working for themselves. They are working for themselves and their families. It is a cartel. It's a cabal. And I said this. This is a cartel. If you go to the mafia, the Italian mafia, that is a family. It is a mafia family that works and backs each other. I will not even be surprised, Mburu, if Gachagua works with William Ruto in 2027. That will not come as a surprise. That will not come as a surprise if Kindiki is sacked tomorrow and Gachagua is brought in as the VP or the deputy. If Raila, this is what will happen. If Raila decides to leave William Ruto tomorrow, believe you me, Kindiki will be forced to leave that particular seat for Gachagua to come back in as the deputy president. And when he comes back as the deputy president, Jeffrey Mburu, with all his knowledge, with all his academic qualifications and all that, will still support William Samoei Ruto just because of that move. So we think with our emotions. We think with our emotions. We follow political leaders. But and I told you, there is a new electoral college that is looking beyond tribalism. Is looking beyond tribalism. And these people, what they did, they killed the finance bill. They made a reshuffle in the cabinet. They stormed parliament, something that has never been seen in Kenya. So how far can they go? You call them leaderless. No, they did that even without a leader. They did that without a leader. And suppose they had a leader, they would do a lot of stuff. So wait and see what will happen in this movement called Gen Zs. They have already proved to you. Yeah, they have already proved to you that they can bring William Ruto down.
You know, Mzalendo, you are arguing as if things change drastically. And I have told you time and again, I'm a psychologist. So in as far as observing people's mind and behaviors, I think I might be one step ahead. Because one thing I know, in any society, things don't change drastically. Things change gradually. What am I trying to drive at? Right now, we came from dictatorship like Moi and Kenyatta to starting now enjoying the kind of democracy that we're enjoying today. But there are still two factors that have not changed in Kenya. That money, to a greater extent, decides who becomes the president of Kenya. Number two, what we call political base. Those two things are yet to change. So if you don't have a huge following behind you, don't think that you're going to wake up one day and automatically the people of Kenya say that they are going to follow you. So even the Gen Zs you are talking about, you are talking of two things that are totally different. There is no significant relationship between demonstrations and elections. Those are two different things. What they did was rioting. They rioted. To go for a riot, you don't need money. To go for a riot, you don't need people who are staunch supporters. All what you need is to show people that they have been oppressed, and they are going to say, like people do even in the universities. You just need to say, we go. But those people you call the Gen Zs, if today you tell them, I am here, support me, they will not be able to support you because you are not giving them what others are giving them. So in as far as someone like Sifuna, let Sifuna contest as a governor, and people will see, oh, this one has more has influence. Let him look for strong political base and acceptance from people. Number two, look at Babu Owino. What is his following to say that he can become the president easier than anybody else? Those people, they lack financial muscle. They also lack political basis. That is something that Gachagua was lacking when he became the deputy president, and he knew. That is why he was trying to talk about Central Kenya, so that the people of Central Kenya can embrace him. So that is where we are in Kenya. Even in 2027, we may say whatever we want to say, but still we have not stopped from being tribal. But gradually, slowly by slowly, as people continue to intermarry, as people continue to mingle and to interact, this demon of tribalism will reduce. But it is right now, Mzalendo. Tribalism is very alive in Kenya. It is very strong, and people still vote basing on their tribes. Very few people, even those Gen Zs, when it comes to general elections, we have not tested them. They demonstrated together because of how they felt, because they were being affected by common things. But when it comes to voting, they might vote differently. And this is what I said and this is the advice I gave to the Gen Zs, before you think of political leadership, first create what we call political structures. Come up with a political party, establish a leadership, because there is nothing called partyless. There is nothing called leaderless. That is something, anything that does not have those two is something that has no direction. It is something that is not going anywhere. So right now, when we are discussing politics, we cannot be discussing about people who are not organized, who have no strategies, whom we even don't know whether they exist or not.
Well, Bonnie, are you still with us? Inaka, Bonnie is not with us. Now,
Bonnie is crying. I saw him crying because of the loss of Baba.
I think
it is okay.
I feel it is okay. You can cry, you can do whatever you want to do.
There is time for everything.
But you can cry, you can do whatever you want to do. But
he has come back. He has wiped his tears.
Bonnie, life has to continue. I was with this lady who was telling me she's walking to the hospital because pressure imepanda juu, sijui nini imefanyika nini. And I was like, politics can affect people that way. Then get to the election, to the real elections, and then you lose the elections. Unajua kuongea hapo kwa platform ni kitu ingine. But Mburu, if you go to elections or a nomination, and then you've lost a nomination, ama umeibiwa, or whatever happened in the election, it's a very bad feeling. It's a very bad feeling. Hata unaenda ukiota, unaenda kuiona ukiota that hiyo uchaguzi bado.
I know you contested, that's why.
Yeah, when you contest elections, unaenda ukiota.
Do you mean that Baba lost that ANC seat?
Huh?
No, kimeibiwa.
Sasa wewe kura ni 50 votes, 50. Kura ni ngapi? 50. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Tuambie umejua.
Nani akina nani wenye walikuwa wanakosa kuvote? Wanavote mara ya kwanza na ya pili hawapigi kura. Who are they?
Unaona hii kitu ni lobbying. Yaani kuna yani unaona unaangalia chances ya ule mtu anataka kupigia kura. Sasa hizo ndio masimu zinatembea. Hey, ni aje bwana, nipigia huyu mtu wangu kura. Unaona? So hao watu walikosa kupiga.
But to be honest, Mzalendo, they need to change their electoral procedures kwa sababu we can't just have one region represented.
Yeah, we cannot, because unaona the dominance of North Africa and and West Africa. East Africa cannot match them. Hatuwezi.
That's true.
So it is impossible. Hii kitu should be rotational. And then it is also creating a rift and enmity within Africa. Unaona? It is
just like we have been saying. Yeah.
Sasa wewe
kama Arabu watoke hapo.
Wewe angalia kama Suluhu
Can you assure Bonnie and the others that there was no rigging in the AUC?
No,
huko kulikuwa na wizi bwana. Wizi ilikuwa mingi.
Bonnie is a Raila staunch supporter. Them they don't lose elections. They normally their elections are stolen. Huyo aliibiwa. But wacha nikwambie Bonnie, let me just console you a bit. All is not lost. Maybe this election for Baba opens other ways for East Africa one day.
Mimi nataka hivi Mzalendo.
Wewe kama Museveni, wewe sikia Mburu, Museveni jirani wetu hapa. Hapa. Hakuweza kupanda ndege, haya Suluhu.
Hakutupigia. Kagame hataki kusikia Kenya. kwa sababu sisi
Kagame
ndio
hapa tumeweka marwandisi wake hapa, hata wakipigana huko kwao walikuwa wanatoroka hapa Kenya, wakikuja tunawasaidia.
Wako wengi huko Nairobi, hata wanauza ma-KDF hapa Ngong Road, ma-KDF makahawa.
Mimi nasema hivi mzalendo, na haya ni maoni yangu. Mimi nataka baba akue kwa debe 2027 na asimame na Rigathi Gachagua. Uone zile ulikuwa unasikia dhuraku, uone zile voti atapata Central Kenya. Wacha nimalize. Sasa wewe mzalendo. Sikiza.
Kutubeba ufala.
Wacha nimalize.
Kutubeba ufala. Sasa ile mlikuwa mpigia Raila kura, mko mpigia kura ati sasa.
Wacha nikuambie.
Wacha simame na Gachagua. What will a 90-year-old man kusimama na Gachagua msaidie nani?
Sikiza, mimi nakuambia hivi. Mimi baba is very strong. Kama ameweza kutembea hizo nchi zote within those few months, he's still very energetic. Mawazo yake iko sawa.
Mburu wacha
mzalendo, nyamaza ni mimi nasema hivi, baba akue kwa debe 2027, atusaidie kutoa Ruto, na sisi vote tutampatia ashangae. Vote tutampigia kumpigia kwa fujo. Dhuraku.
Kwa hivyo wewe thuraku na hiyo vitu zote hizo ndoto naota ati Raila akue candidate 2027. Viewers, kama uko na maoni sawa na ya Mburu, hiyo unasikia pale, ebu leave a comment there, tell me whether this is viable. Can Raila Odinga be on the ballot in 2027 and the Kikuyu community?
Kwa sababu wacha nikuambie mzalendo, unaona baba akisimama ndiye atakuwa rais, hata even without the support of Central Kenya. Sahi Ruto is a very weak president. He is only banking on the support of Raila Odinga and Azimio, not even Azimio, maana hiyo ilifujika. Anatumia support ya ODM sahi. So baba akimuondokea tu hivi kidogo, hiyo uongozi yake imefika mwisho.
No, sasa ile rais ni si Ruto
amuondokee asimame
Ruto aende one term kama vile ameenda one term. Alafu aondoke. Ruto aende tu one term, aseme Raila, mimi nimekuachia hii kiti ndugu yangu, wewe enda tu one term moja peke yake. Wili Kikuyu Raila. Sahi Raila Odinga akisimama venye tu walikuwa na uhuru wake, na hiyo timu yetu yenye alikuwa nayo, na atafute deputy mwingine sio Karoa. Hiyo tu timu yenye alikuwa nayo asimame nayo. Raila Odinga will be the next president of Kenya. I'm telling you the truth. Maana Central Kenya haisupport na haitawahi support mtu anaitwa Ruto. So even without Central Kenya, baba will become the president of Kenya. This is his time. The time ya baba. Ayaga anasema Jeffrey Mburu is just on the 1969 Wamera off. Anything else is gone. I don't know what it means. Your oath mlichukua huko, wewe ulikuwa part of that. Did you partake that oath? Or did your father partake that oath?
Tulikuwa tunakunywa oath kule kwa milima. Nilikuwako na pia nani Eric alikuwako.
Wewe.
Sasa mimi nasema hivi mzalendo, na munisikize. Wakenya na munisikize vizuri sana. There is time for everything. This is the right timing for Raila Odinga to become the president of Kenya. William Ruto ameondokewa na support yenye alikuwa nayo 2022. Ameondolewa vote kutoka milioni 5 zimemuondokea. Yeye amebaki na zile 2 votes za regions hizo zingine ambazo they are like 3 millions. Sasa kwa nini baba aende ku strengthen serikali yenye ilipingana na yeye? Sasa anastahili kusema nitasimama, na uone this is the right time for baba to become the president of Kenya. na munisikize.
Hao waria wa Kenya angeweza kuongea na waria wenzao huko Djibouti, waachie baba huyu jamaa wa Djibouti. Unajua mimi amjatingi hao waria huyu kina Duale kina nani, si wangeongea na huyo waria mwenzao huko waachie hata baba hiyo kiti.
For the first time, if Raila Odinga will be on the ballot, for the first time, I will vote for Baba. For the reason being, I don't want to hear the name William Ruto. Hiyo tu itafanya ni support Baba.
Wewe utaki kusikia William Ruto? Utaki kusikia William Ruto juu alitoa Gachagua? Wewe una kitu kingine?
No. Mzalendo.
Wewe sababu yako ya kutosupport William Ruto ni kwa sababu
alitoa Gachagua.
Usiniambie mambo ingine, ni kwa sababu tu alitoa Gachagua peke yake.
Ungekuwa na nyamaza nikuambie, wewe unajibu. Bora unajibu on my behalf.
Utaniambia hiyo, acha nipatie Boni nafasi kidogo alafu tarudi. Boni.
Boni anaongea kidogo anaenda kulia. Sasa Boni,
wewe kijana, jikakamue. Hii siasa wewe unaona kama baba vile anakuaga mkakamue babu. Imagine wewe jikakamue tu. Wewe ungekuwa baba si ungeshakufa. Wewe baba amejikakamua hizo loss zote mpaka wa leo is still strong. Hata mimi siwezi, hata Buru sijui ungekuwa namna gani. Wengine wetu ungekuwa nawekewa Madrid.
Kabraponi, wacha tu niongee kitu moja imekuja kwa mawazo. Mimi naona hivi. Okay, on the face of it, it looks like Baba has been losing. But if you look at it critically, Mzalendo, you realize that Baba has never lost any election in Kenya. Though he has lost pale kwa debe, huwa anaingia kwa hizo serikali zote na anafanya kazi na hizo serikali. So hiyo kwani kupoteza nini? Kupoteza ni ile unapoteza unaenda nyumbani. Baba anapoteza, serikali zinaona we cannot do without this man. They call him, he bargained for a big share, even his personal share. So Baba amekuwa kwa serikali ya KANU, ya Kibaki, amekuwa kwa serikali ya Moi, amekuwa kwa serikali ya Uhuru, amesaia kwa serikali ya Ruto. Huyo ni mtu amepoteza. Baba hajawahi poteza. If we look at it critically, he has never lost any election. He has always been part of the government.
Haya, Mboni, mambo, hebu tuambie unahisi aje saa hii vile elections imeisha, your candidate has lost and Kenya has indeed lost that particular seat. Unasikiaje bwana?
Yes, we lost. I am a very loyal supporter of Raila Odinga for a long time, and now we lost the AUC seat to Djibouti. But what I can say is that we are still the loyal supporter of Baba. But I think now at 8 years, it is now high time Baba relax. His legacy will also be continued by other gentlemen. It's high time Baba now relax. Go home, have good time with Haida Odinga, and then we shall be visiting over there to see his welfare. But now it's high time just to go home, relax. Even he should also leave William Ruto government. Afaenda tu nyumbani atulie kule, aende na watu wake pale, watulie tu yani, because hii kupoteza ya AU hii sasa inaonesha tu hatuna bahati. It was not meant for us to lead this country nor the entire continent. So we go home. Sometimes giving up is very important other than keeping up pushing for nothing.
Sasa Boni mimi nakwambia tu, and naambia Osam pia pale kwa panel session, Zingalolo, Muslims and against Christians. Yeah, we have analyzed that these people.
Can you read that of Osam? Can you read that comment of Osam?
Osam is saying the panelists are so enthusiastic because Raila lost the AIC chair. What happened to nationalism? Osam, Here we look at things the way they are. Personally, we are not happy that Raila has lost the elections. Neither can we be sad that Raila indeed lost this particular venture. The reason why is because we are in Africa and Africa is one. We are one people. The candidate for Djibouti is an African, and that is why we have what we call Pan-Africanism. This competition against each other is what is bringing a rift. It is like tribalism. You need to understand, when Raila conceded defeat, he knew very well that a brother has won the elections. And that is how you need to look at it. This is about Pan-Africanism. It is not about Kenya has lost. It is Africa has won. It has chosen one of its sons. What we are saying is that this seat should be rotational, so that we don't have competition amongst each other in Africa. So right now, yes, you are seeing people saying the Muslim gangs against the Christians. You are seeing your neighbor didn't vote for you. This one didn't vote for me. And that is what should not be there in Africa. We are fighting very, very hard to keep the spirit of Muhammad Gaddafi alive, the spirit of Sankara alive, not the spirit of competition as brothers and sisters in Africa. All right.
Can you read that comment? And then you tell us whether it is facts or...
Mburu, I understand Uhuru was present at the AU headquarters lobbying against Raila. What do you think will be the repercussions when this information reaches Kenya? Awesome, this information is already in the world. It is not only in Kenya, it is throughout the world. That information has already reached the world, not only in Kenya. You've already put it up there. So Mburu, you can answer that question. It was directed to you.
You know, I don't like commenting on what I don't know. I am not sure that Uhuru was there. I haven't heard. Maybe Bonnie can tell us whether he has that information. So that is new to me. As far as I know is that Uhuru and Raila Odinga have been working together. They were in Azimio coalition, and we don't want that to create any conflict amongst them. So it might not be true. You know, people speculate a lot. The only thing that I have heard people say is that if Uhuru Kenyatta contested, he was going to win. I don't know why people were saying that. I don't know what you think about that, Mzalendo.
Let me tell you, what you've said is very, very true. If Uhuru went for this seat, he would have won, because this seat, I've seen the pattern of this seat. Most of the people who get this seat are former presidents of the country. Yeah, former president. It's like a reserve for former presidents. So Raila was coming in as an outsider in this particular seat. He was an outsider. He was an outsider in this particular seat. So that could be a very good, that may be a very, very good point. Or maybe William Ruto didn't recommend Uhuru's name. William Ruto,
you see,
because Uhuru did not really campaign for Raila Odinga.
You know the reason? The reason was that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to work with Raila Odinga locally. He didn't want Raila Odinga to leave Azimio. He wanted Raila Odinga to be here locally and Raila Odinga not to support William Ruto, so that they may work together to remove William Ruto in 2027. And William Ruto was very keen to send Raila Odinga out there so that he does not interfere or participate in the local politics. So it is all about interest, not because of anything else. Just like myself, I was not supporting Raila Odinga to win. But why? It is because of our local politics. I knew very well, and I have said it time and again, I don't fear saying what I think. I knew very well if Raila Odinga was going to become the chair out there, he was going to support William Ruto 100%. And with the support of Raila Odinga to William Ruto would not have any need of Central Kenya. So somehow I was selfish because of the region where I come from. I knew that if Raila Odinga becomes the chair, Ruto hatakuwa na haja na Central Kenya tena. 100% anajua ushindi ni lazima. Right now mimi nilikuwa nataka arudi tungangane tukiwa ndani. You know, so most of the people who are not supporting it is not because of anything else. It is because of local politics and the interest that we have in the local politics. Not about patriotism or not being patriotic. No, it is because even William Ruto setting Raila Odinga there, the motive was for him to sustain power in 2027 using his backyard. Alikuwa anataka kumrithi. Na sisi hatukuwa tunataka hivyo.
All right, there is a question here. I don't know whether to take anybody who has got this information. Who are the former presidents who have won, who have become ASU Commission chair? Yes, number one is Faki. Faki is a former president of which country? Faki is the former prime minister of Chad, and he was now the sitting AUC Commission chair. Zuma, if you didn't know, was a former president of South Africa. President Zuma was also in that particular seat. There's a guy called Ping, I don't know, Ping is former, Ping was not a president. Ping was not a president. Now there is this guy called Konari. Konari alikuwa president wa Mali. Konari was a president of Mali. He was also the former chair of AUC Commission chair. So these things have been won by, most of the occupants of that seat have been former presidents. Yeah, so Eric, I hope I answered your question. Bonnie, do you have something to say?
No, I'm just following the conversation, but yes, also the fact remains we lost as Raila Amolo Odinga supporters, but the Francophone countries, they have really voted for the Djibouti guy. So I don't think whether East Africa will be, not unless East Africa, South Africa, and parts of Southeast Africa, the likes of Namibia, Angola, they come together. They will, then we will not win this seat. Now we are moving from local politics to international. Even international politics, they are not voting for us. What is wrong? We are not lucky. Luck must be there. We are not lucky. So as a Raila Amolo Odinga supporter, it's time we go home with his wife, Ida Odinga, and we relax. Giving up sometimes is an option.
Yeah, I think you are right. You are right. And Eric, thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the clarification. Faki was not a president. Who was he? Faki was a prime minister. I've just told you that Faki was
Yeah,
former prime minister of Chad. You know, Faki is the former prime minister of Chad. Not, I didn't say he's a former president. He was the former prime minister of Chad. Now, I think that is the reason why, and so some put up some interesting view here that AU is dominated by small Muslim countries in West Africa and some parts of North Africa. Changes must be made, otherwise Africa will remain weaker and the West will continue to sit on us. Yeah, I think we are missing the point. We are missing each and every time. We are missing the point, and this is what we bring our tribal politics into regional African politics. You see, the issue of Africa is Pan-Africanism. If a Muslim country wins the seat, then it is okay. What we need to be changed is the structure of AUC seat. Just like the AU chairman, I think some point it is rotational. So as this seat needs to be rotational, so that each and every other country can have a chance to be in that particular seat. So that is how this thing works. So I hope that the structures in AUC will be changed so that we can accommodate each and every country in Africa. Otherwise, the Muslim will always gang against the Christian North Africa. Then we have this ECOWAS and SADC. That is something that will be challenged in the future. So this election could be an eye-opener to many African head of states for things to change, because we don't even know who didn't vote for you, and so it brings a lot of suspicion and enmity within Africa. But what we are asking also is that how does this election affect the local politics? That is the question that I want to ask Mburu, how this election affects our local politics. Is it something that is going to shake our local politics?
Youssouf Zarendo, I want to say that, yes, to some extent, it's a loss for the country that he was not in a position to get that position, because maybe he would have campaigned for the country, tourism, and other aspects. But I want to say it is more beneficial for Raila Odinga to be in Kenya than to be outside there, because he will continue with what he is used to do, to put the government into checks and balances. The government of William Ruto had become so dictatorial because there was nobody to tell the president or the government what you are doing is not right. If Raila Odinga was here in Kenya and concentrating with the local politics, he was going to criticize the government against the abductions and the killings of the young people. So with him in Kenya, it is more beneficial to the people of Kenya than when he is outside there. And because William Ruto is not afraid of anybody else, nobody should be deceived. Let nobody deceive you that William Ruto is scared of people like Gachagua, like people like Uhuru Kenyatta or these other politicians. He was only afraid of one man called Raila Odinga. And that is why he was very keen to take him outside there so that he does not participate in the local politics. So I think right now the local politics will be affected to a greater extent by the coming back of Raila Odinga, because Ruto will have to go back to the drawing board and come up with new strategies, because Raila Odinga will come back and continue checking the government, of which he did not want that. Number two, it is not a must that he is going to support William Ruto now or even in 2027. So many things will change. He might decide even to withdraw from that broad-based coalition. He was doing it because of what he was promised, and the president has not managed to fulfill that promise. So many things will change. And also, like I said, William Ruto right now, you start now rethinking about the bases he has lost. He lost Central Kenya because, for him, I have gained Raila Odinga and his support. I don't need them anymore. So you start now rethinking, what if Raila Odinga will not support him in 2027? So the politics will be somehow balanced. He will value each and every corner of Kenya, because each and every vote will now matter. in the campaign of 2027 as far as William Ruto is concerned. Mimi nilikuwa nataka anguke, maana asipoanguka watu wa Central na nilikuwa nimewaambia hata huko kwa Facebook, mjue ya kwamba Raila Odinga akipita Gachagua na hiyo wa Monyoro team mambo yao kwisha, kwa sababu he was going to rally his support behind William Ruto. I was so much afraid of that. Sasa saa hii anaweza waki na kila mtu yeyote. Raila Odinga anaweza waki na Gachagua, anaweza waki na kina Uhuru, anaweza waki na kina Natembea. They can make another coalition to force out this guy. So kama kuna mtu ameshtuka, hata sio Raila Odinga, kama if there is somebody who is afraid of this loss, is William Ruto and his allies.
All right. Now, there's this question that keeps on popping in many forums. This is Eric is asking a question that I need a former William Ruto supporter to answer this. Raila is not going to whatever that Raila is not going anywhere. Maybe those who voted for Ruto knew he is a crook. Let them suffer peacefully. Now, every time this kind of answer to our problems pops up, that you Mburu, you supported William Ruto. Now you need to suffer the pain of not listening to Eric Ayaga and many others who are supporting Raila Odinga. So this is something that is said in many, many forums. I don't know.
I'm always reminded, especially myself, I have really suffered because of supporting William Ruto. I supported William Ruto wholeheartedly.
Now the irony is the same fellow is supporting Ruto now for you to continue, for you to feel bad.
For me to continue suffering. You know, we say, Mzalendo, that we say that making a mistake is not bad. The problem is when you repeat the same mistake. It was a mistake that we made because we believed each and every word that proceeded from the mouth of William Ruto. I'm a staunch Christian myself. And when I see somebody who is talking about God and crying in church and walking with pastors and bishops, I believed him. You know, he was even praying in church, almost preaching in church. He was doing everything. And I said, this is one of us, you know. So I did know that this guy can change. So I didn't know that Ruto was a crook like he said. So let me finish, Bonnie. And because I realized I made a mistake, I decided not to wait to 2027. I decided to talk about it, that this guy is not what I thought. I saw how he handled the demolitions around Nairobi River. It was cruel. They had promised never to do that. William Ruto himself criticized the Uhuru government because of demolitions. How then could he do the same thing, even worse than what Uhuru had done? He had criticized the former government because of extrajudicial killings. How come he is the same person right now who is in power, and those things have happened to the most innocent people in the republic, the young people who need direction, who we need a father figure to tell him what to do and what not to do. So those are some of the things that made me to rethink my stand and support to this government. And you also saw how he handled Gachagua. You know, I never expected that, because that was the worst form of betrayal. Somebody who suffered because of you, somebody who was jailed, somebody who was flogged, even naked before his children and workers, and somebody who used his money. The reason why he did not, Ruto did not choose Kidiki, it is because Kidiki was not having enough money for campaign. But Rigathi had money. He used his money. He used his influence and his courage. He suffered for Ruto, only for him just to kick him like a dog. Such kind of things tells me this is not what you are thinking. This guy is not tolerant. This guy cannot be trusted. All the roads, Mzalendo, you know, I travel. For me, I almost every day I travel to different parts of this country. All the roads that most of them that were started in central Kenya by Uhuru Kenya, they stopped. Any reason? Any explanation? None of them. So if you tell me that I can make such a mistake again, I can't. So I apologize because because I really supported this government, but I regret. I feel that we are heading to the wrong direction. So what I'm telling people, it's okay to make a mistake. I thought Ruto is a genuine person. I thought all the things he talked about, he was going to implement. I thought he was keen. He was going to do those things. Because when we talk of bottom-up economic model, I thought exactly he is going to mind about that person who is down there to try to bring them up. I haven't seen that happen. So there are so many things that I feel they are wrong. I feel he was deceiving the people because he was in the other government and he knew what could work and what could not. So he has no excuse. So anything he is saying as the reason why he should not fulfill the things he said, I am saying he is still trying to buy more time and to deceive us. Then you saw Mzalendo. You saw the things he promised when he went to Wajir. The same things he was promising. He promised those roads in central Kenya and other places that he went. He was saying the road from, I don't know where, Gesha, heading to Jabini, another one, I don't know, from Gataga, heading where. The same script. He has gone with it to now to the Wajir people, that side of Garissa. So at least he is supposed to change. And I have been saying this, Mzalendo. Instead of giving these promises, the president has been giving promises all the time. Even during the time of Uhuru Kenyatta, he is supposed to change the strategy because the people are tired of that. He is supposed to build those roads, then tell people, you have seen I have built this road from this point to this point. Then people will start believing in him. Right now, he has continued to give more promises. He should first fulfill what he promised before he became the president so that we can trust in him. Right now, I perceive him as a typical liar that I cannot follow or even imagine voting for him again.
Yes. Bonnie, do you have anything to add on that? If you don't
mimi nasema tu vile tu Eric amesema, huyu Mburu ndio wanafanya tuteseke. Mburu na wale wengine walipotia Ruto. Baba angewin. Hizo kura alikuwa anakusanya huko Central Kenya, sasa zingine wanakusanya abroad. Sasa ni hata Mzalendo kidogo mpigie kura. Thank you, tungekuwa tunapata hiyo 6K. 6K inaingia daily. Mbona unanikatiza Mzalendo?
Najua nataka urudi after hii commercial break. Saa yetu ya commercial imefika, then ukuje utuambie hii habari ya 6K na vile ingekusaidia. Now ukikuwa uko pale, if you are on those sides of Kahawa or Ndani, Shiny Star Hospital is a hospital that you can go there and have your emergency care around the clock, emergency services with rapid response. So mkiwa pale Kahawa Ndani, make sure that you go to this particular facility. We have maternity care, pediatric care, surgical care, diagnostics, and we also have maternity and rehabilitation services. If you need something that is urgent, or you need some specialized treatment, we have got a dentist on board at Shiny Hospital in Kahawa Wendani. So karibuni sana at Shiny Hospital. So minor surgeries pale Shiny Hospital, ultrasound. We also have a VCT center, immunization kama unataka uko pale Kahawa Wendani. So make sure that you visit Shiny Hospital. Outpatient services we also offer in Shiny. Inpatient care, pharmacy, iko pale, laboratory services, hata ukitaka kutairishwa, unajua Wakenya wengi wanapenda kutairisha watoto pale huko mashinani huko, ukienda Kisii kwa msituni na kisu, hapana. Sasa hii these services are brought in closer to you at Shiny Star Hospital in Kahawa, Wendani. So give us a call. Give us a call one of these fine days, and the number is there: 0723 748320. Tafadhali pitia pale ukiwa na mtoto, hii wakati wa holiday anataka kutairishwa, mpeleke pale Shiny Hospital. Yes, Bwana Boni, karibu sana. Karibu sana. Tuambie mambo ya 6K. I know most of Raila supporters miss that 6,000 shillings. Na pia utuambie hiyo pesa ingetoka wapi? Because hii country ni nchi ya deni. Haya, karibu Boni.
Baba lost bwana. We lost today. But anyway, what do I say that we have to accept that reality, because the president fought for that. Again, I will not forget to say, Baba, it's high time we go home, relax. Even working in this Kenya Kwanza government, we should not. Hata wakina Opiwa Ndai watoke kwa hiyo serikali, waachana na hizo vitu kabisa. Akina Joe watoke hapo. Wacha waachiwe serikali wao peke yao. Shinde ukiwa peke yao. Wachana na serikali. Hatutaki watu waazimio huko. Kama waliunga kwa serikali watoke kwa azimio huko, wasiingie hapo. Junet kama yako kwa serikali aingie kwa serikali, asiseme yako kwa azimio. Baba saini watu wa kutulia. Let's give up bwana. Wanasema maisha usi give up, lakini sasa wacha tu give up. Hatutaitisha mpaka lini? 2022 ndio ilikuwa mara yetu ya mwisho kuitisha hizi vitu. Sasa hii hiyo 6K ingetusaidia sisi sana kama vijana. Angekuwa natuma kila mwisho mwezi. Serikali iko na pesa, akienda pale tu angalie mali hiyo pesa wanapatia watu wa Haiti. Hiyo pesa inatumika huko, sasa wangesaidia wa Kenya. Watume hiyo 6K. Baba hizi kosa, anajua sisi ni watoto wake. Angetuma hiyo 6K nakwambia. Na mtu hizi nitoa hapo.
Okay, sasa hii wazimu ndio sasa we want to deal with it. This madness. Unajua hii inasemaga you need some help. You need some help. Kwa sababu sasa baba anafanya kazi na serikali. Inaitwa broad based government.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo, baba atoke kwa serikali. Hakuna.
Sasa utapata hii 6,000 aje? Utapata hii 6,000 aje akitoka kwa serikali?
Sasa ndio tumegive up sasa hii. We have given up. We have given up. We don't want anything. Hakuna kitu kingine tunataka. Hatutaki, tumegive up sasa hii. Hatutaki serikali, tumegive up.
Boni, wacha nikuambie
nini?
Mambo ya economics, especially the country's economy. There is no free money anywhere in the world. Serikali haiwezi chukua taxes ati halafu inarudishia watu ati inawapatia 6,000.
Baba hizi kosa. Unajua wewe ni baba wewe.
Wacha nimalize. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo ingepatikana. Politicians sometimes they say things just for votes. Hakuna mahali popote duniani utasikia ati serikali huwa inapatia watu pesa mwisho wa mwezi, unless there is emergency like COVID, ama wakati mwingine kuna assignment za wale watu labda wako na watoto, kuna ile package wanapata. Lakini kwa dunia mzima hautaisikia mahali serikali inapatiana pesa. Hata Marekani kwenye the richest country in the world, mzalendo atatuambia kama sahi wanapewa pesa ya bure. It can't happen. There is nothing like that in the economy of the country.
Unafikiria kuna COVID unapatiwa pesa ya relief, ati COVID relief fund, ati Boni. Sasa unajua watu wakijua kuna 6,000 kwa serikali kila siku, watu watazaana mbaya sana. Watazaana
na hata
mpaka
watafanya kazi.
utakuwa ukitembea kila mahali unaona ni watoto wadogo wadogo. Ukienda kwa street kila mtu ana family. Juu 6,000 inakuja.
Boni anataka kuongezea bibi.
Boni anataka kuongezea bibi. Boni, tafadhali ukae ukijua hiyo 6,000 ilikuwa political gimmick, na kama ingewezekana saa hii baba angeshaambia William Ruto, ambia treasury yeye ndiye ana control, ambia Mbadi ile 6,000 tulikuwa tumeongea juu yake. Boni anahitaji mbaya sana, anahitaji. Mafuasi wetu walikuwa wametegemea hiyo pesa. William Ruto, tafadhali factor that money in the next financial year budget. So that is the way things are. And Eric anasema Ruto 10 bila break. Eric, nilikwambia hii story nilikwambia kidogo. Wewe umerudi pande ya Ruto, wewe support Ruto huko pali huko, bila mtu kukutatiza. That is your opinion. Utuambie vile atapata hiyo 10 bila break. You have already seen how politics can change things, that unaona William Ruto cannot lose any election. Sasa you've seen that he has already lost an election, that we had only some 50 presidents to convince, and we couldn't manage to convince them. Now, what about over 20 million Kenyans, 40 million plus to vote for you? That will be a tall order.
Unajua, wakati mwingine siasa huwa inanifavor sana. The first president for me to vote for was Kibaki. I supported Kibaki won. I supported Uhuru won. I supported Ruto won. I didn't support Raila Odinga for the AU, na nikasema hapa si support kwa sababu naona ataaguka, akaanguka. Sasa
wacha kucheka hivyo. Unajua kuna watu wanaumia. Kuna watu wanaumia. Wacha kuchekelea hao wafuasi wa nini. Wewe wacha kucheka. Kuna watu unajua Boni hapo, kuna watu wanaumia. Kuna watu wanaenda kupanda ndege. Watu wanapanda ndege leo jioni, wanapanda ndege wakirudi.
Unajua tuko kwa show. Ukicheza show ambayo
wewe sasa zingine pia heshimu show, au usicheke hivyo sana. Unajua
acha nimalize. Last time nilikuwa hapa niliwaambia ninaona hiyo kiti kienda na watu wakanijiria sana. Bodi alikuwa hapa, hata ndiye alikuwa moderator. Nikamwambia imekaribia, mtakuja hapa mtaniuliza. Sasa mimi hapa ndiye nawaambia kulingana na venye naangalia ground, Ruto naona akianguka 2027 unless aibe kura, maana nikitafuta kura zake sizioni. Maybe itakuwa mara yangu ya kwanza kufanya prediction nikashindwa. Wakati wa Uhuru niliambia watu, nikiangalia vyenye ground iko, na nilikuwa huko kwa Mutembei TV, naona ya kwamba Uhuru atashinda. Watu wengi wakaniambia hatuwezi pata Mkikuyu mwingine. Nikawaambia si vote itategemea. Sasa saa hii nawaambia venye iko, Ruto is standing on a very slippery ground, na mimi naona akianguka. Kwa hivyo wenye wanasema 10 express hawezi shindwa, ndiye tulikuwa naye kule AU na kampeni ya Raila Odinga. Sasa mumeona anaweza akashindwa. So hata 2027 mimi naona mtu akianguka vibaya sana, aende nyumbani.
Haya, mimi nakwambia kuna watu wanaumia bwana. There are people who are still living. Unaona kama kina Boni hapa.
Niliambia Wakenya hivi, siasa usiweke kwa moyo. Sisi huwa tunakuja hapa.
Hebu play hiyo video ya baba tena.
Wacha nicheze.
Oni huwa tunakuja hapa, unaona wazee watu wanatusi hapa, lakini hakuna grudge. Tunakuja hapa tunasumbuana. Usiweke siasa can happen.
Unataka video gani ya baba? Hii
hiyo press ya baba after
of the African continent have gathered today to elect a new leader who is going to take over from the outgoing leader. I had offered myself as a candidate, and over the last few months I've run around the continent, talking to leadership of the continent, canvassing for their votes. Today they have expressed themselves, and as it is now, we did not succeed. We say that we must strengthen democracy in the African continent, and therefore myself conceding defeat, and I want us to use this as an example of strengthening democracy in our continent. I therefore want to wish my competitor Ali Youssouf all the best. We want to wish him success in his undertaking. And we also want to thank all those members or countries who voted for me. I also want to thank those who did not vote for me, because in doing so, they were exercising their democratic right. That's how democracy should work in our continent. We should strengthen it. So I'm very grateful for the exercise here today. I thank the people. I thank the people of Africa. And to say, Viva l'Afrique libre. Thank you.
Karibu aseme Viva Afrique 24.
Viva Afrique. Lakini umeona the daughter was behind there. Lakini the sad part about it ni hiyo group imeenda na Raila. Whenever I see Raila behind this
Mzalendo ngoja kwanza.
Huyu jamaa anaitwa Mutua. Acha ndasahau hiki tu. Huyu Mutua professor sijui nani Makau. Anaitwa Makau. That guy, I don't think he will advise Baba vizuri. Imagine Mutula ameshinda Baba Boni. Alienda huko tu na laptop peke yake na simu. Laptop na simu. Hata familia yake
nimeona walikuwa watatu peke yake. Nimeona walikuwa watatu.
Walikuwa watatu peke yake. Can you imagine? Yani huyu jamaa alienda tu. Yeye alienda tu hapo watu watatu, na Kenya imebeba constituency mzima ati wanaenda Ethiopia. Hao watu watarudi kwa ndege namna gani? Hiyo ndio swali.
Mimi hata Mzalendo wacha ati nini? Mimi najua nimeangalia hiyo press saa hii, namuona Winnie Odinga hapo nyuma. Umemuona?
Shida iko wapi?
Alikuwa hapo nyuma.
Hiki tunauma bwana. Hiki tunauma.
Unamaanisha hakuwa anastahili kuwa hapo, ama what is wrong with Winnie Odinga?
Hapana, mimi nasema inauma. This is sad. We lost Raila Amolo.
Sasa wacha niseme hivi Mzalendo umeona ni kitu.
Awasa mwako hapo kwa comment section na amekuwa tu akisema Raila atawin. Anasema saa hii Raila alikuwa sijui kwa cop. Bwana Awasa, can you be constant with your decision? Amebadilika tena saa hii.
Sasa wacha nimalize. Hiyo ni vizuri maana anachangia. Kuna wenye wako na mambo ya kusema lakini wananyamaza. Mzalendo ameniambia wakati ameona nikicheka, anasema ya kwamba niache kucheka kwa maana kuna watu wanaumia. Lakini vizuri nifafanue mbona ninacheka. Nilipokuwa ninasema staki baba ashide, nilikuwa nasema staki ashide maana tuko na kazi yake hapa Kenya. So kwangu mimi ni ushindi, maana nilikuwa nataka baba aje atusaidie kunyorosha hii serikali ya William Ruto ambayo imekuwa na kiburi sana, na the only person who can do that it is Raila Odinga. Ruto alikuwa anajaribu kujiondolea upinzani ili atuongoze venye anataka, afanye venye anataka, pesa iibiwe venye anataka. So saa hii mimi nafurahia kwa sababu ile sababu nilikuwa nataka baba arudi, sasa amekuja na tutaona mambo ikianza kubadilika. That is why mimi nafurahia akuje, washikane na Gachagua, walime huyu mtu mpaka aongoze nchi vizuri. Maana mimi sichekelei mtu yoyote. Boni, unajua siwezi nikakuchekelea. Tawe unajua hivyo. tumekuwa hapa tukifanya
ati Boni, unajua siwezi ya kuchekelea lakini bado nacheka. Sasa si unamchekelea Boni namna hii mpaka machozi yanataka kutoka. Mpaka machozi yanataka kutoka. Lakini nyinyi watu wakachagua,
mimi nataka baba akuje tushikane na yeye tulime huyu mtu akae square. Ili aongoze nchi vizuri. Otherwise the country was going in the wrong direction.
Unaona, mimi ile kitu inanishangaza. Hizi
maombi mzalendo sikiza. Imagine baba anapoteza. Alafu Chelsea pale Uingereza inapigwa jana na Brighton. Yaani vitu zinapigwa tu kupigwa tunapigwa.
Chelsea imefanya nini?
Boni. Naona leo watu wamekasirika, hiyo ninaona kabisa.
Naona baba Raila bwana. Wewe unajua Raila ni nani? Raila is one of the good leaders that Kenya will miss. Hajawahi kuwa president but watu wanasikianga tu hizi ni airwaves.
Wacha niseme kitu president. Umeona kwa hiyo video yenye umeweka saa hii ya conceding a statement. Ukiangalia baba ako sawa. Hata hakai hiyo yenye mnasema miaka 80.
You can read your expression.
No, wacha nimalize venye nasema. Baba is still very strong health wise. Mentally he is still very stable. Mimi naomba wa Kenya musichoke. This is the right time for Baba to become the president of Kenya. Wakati Ruto is very weak, hana ile support alikuwa nayo, anategemea support ya baba. Na baba pia maana amekuwa akitafuta uongozi, bona amsupport. Si akuje tumsupport. Sisi masupporters wa Gachagua hatuna presidential candidate, tunatafuta mwenye ako na nguvu, tumpatie kura ashangae. So mzalendo tafadhali help me convince Baba to be in the ballot in 2027 and he will become the president of Kenya. I am telling you, mara ya nitapigia baba kura.
There's a lot. Baba can only get a ceremonial seat right now. Right now. Wewe hizo vitu na float hapa ati baba to be on the ballot. Unataka baba achekelewe tena. No way.
Baba watches Africa. Baba watches Africa 24. Baba, if you can hear me, tafadhali. 2027.
You know.
Wewe tunapatia kura. Simama.
Ulidanganya Raila hivyo in 2022. Mkamdanganya hivyo. Wakati aliweka ule Kiwete Kibaki kwa na wheelchair mpaka akakuwa president, mkamdanganya tena hivyo. Sasa hivi tena unataka kudanganya Raila ati mtampatia kura. Kwenda kabisa. Mambo hubadilika. Afadhali supporters wa Raila waacha wa supporters wa Raila wakae na Ruto. Hiyo nimekubali, wacha wakae huko.
Hapana tafadhali. Supporters wa Raila wote ninawaomba. Mnaona baba amerudi. Tukae nyuma ya baba. Baba atengeneze coalition na Kalonzo na Gachagua na Uhuru, tumweke kwa kiti. Hata kama ataongoza miaka 5, mtakuwa mmesikia vizuri. And I'm telling you it is very possible. Msione kama nina si kejeli. Unajua watu wanasema nawafanyia kejeli.
Wewe mwenyewe ulianza hii show kutuambia vile baba ameanguka uchaguzi. Sasa unamaliza show kutuambia unataka tena akuja anguke pande hiyo.
It is a baba moment. Murago moja ikifugika, ingine inafuguka.
Unajua mimi sasa ile kitu sasa mimi ushangaa. Saa zingine Mungu asikiagi maombi zingine ukae ukijua. Wewe unajua ni watu wangapi wameombea baba ndiye apate hii kiti ya AUC? Unajua ni maombi.
They were not praying according to the will of God. The will of God is, kwanza waulize Mungu, ni wapi baba anahitajika sana? Ni huko nje? Ukikuwa chairman wa AUC, unakaa huko Ethiopia. mambo yake hatutamsikia kwa miaka 5.
Mburu in the next,
tunahitaji baba. So the will of God was that Baba be in Kenya so that he can check what the government is doing and speak his mind. Agetuachilia hii serikali ingeharibu hii Kenya kabisa. Sasa Ruto akona kitu ya kuogopa. Maana sauti ya Gachagua Ruto haezi sikia. Sauti yenye tu Ruto anaweza sikia Kenya hii ni baba. The only mistake baba can do is to work with Ruto. Na wakiwaki na Ruto jina yake itachafuka. Huyu mtu ameshajichafua. Amefinyilia vijana wetu, amewaabduct, amefanya mambo mabaya sana. Baba asikubali kuharibu jina yake kuenda kuokoa mtu ambaye tayari ameharibu jina yake. Akuje afanye kazi na sisi, tutamfanyia campaign. Mzalendo, unajua mimi niko na social media nyingi sana, zote zitakuwa zinalidi baba akisimama 2027.
Unaona hivyo ndio Sifuna anasema. Vile umesema ndio Edwin Sifuna anasema. Edwin Sifuna anasema serikali ya Ruto imeanguka, mbona mnakimbia huko kuiokoa serikali ambayo inaanguka na inaenda? Na mnaona Wakenya wako pande hiyo.
Ruto amepoteza karibu kura milioni 6.5. Sasa anataka baba ndiye amsaidie asikie kama amesimama na amejiangusha.
Wewe Mburu, shida ni baba tayari yuko ndani ya hii serikali.
Atoke
na watu wake.
Alikuwa ameingia kwa sababu alikuwa ameabiririwa kiti kubwa ya AU. Sasa imekosekana.
Mbadi yuko kwa mafuta.
Mbadi
treasury.
Si atamuka hapo.
Energy yeye yuko pale.
Ndivyo nakwambia hivi, hawa wakae huko hakuna shida. Lakini 2027
ameweka mining gold kila kitu, rasilimali yote ya nchi.
2027 Muzaredo tunaform government na baba, na sio government ya Ruto ingine. Na hapo ndipo unaona Uhuru hakuwa anataka baba aende huko nje. Mungu anataka baba hapa Kenya. Kama agemtaka huko ageshida. Kazi yake ni kubwa.
Osama amekusikia hapo kwa comment section that in 2027 Raila Odinga will join hands with Gachagua and form the next government. I don't know what you think outside there, but I think this is so unorthodox kind of thinking coming from Mburu and even the people of the mountain. One time they were supporting with Baba and they found that the mountain was very, very slippery. Baba could not climb the mountain.
Unaona venye Osam anasema hapa, let's be very careful with the central region. Uhuru is a representation of this region. He has shown the true colors because he has nothing to lose. Mzalendo, hapa kuna kitu watu wanajaribu kusema ambayo nataka tuangazie kidogo kabla tumalize. Hii ya Uhuru, na nimeona pia hapa huku juu imeandikwa sana by I think by the same person ati ya kwamba Uhuru amekuwa akidcampaign baba asishide uchaguzi wa African Union. Nilikuwa nataka tujiulize ni ukweli ama tu ni watu kwa sababu hawajaona Uhuru akikampenia baba wanadhani yeye alikuwa na campaign. Is there any evidence that we have where people are saying that Uhuru went to the AU to the campaign Raila Odinga? Is it a statement fact?
No. This statement, that's what I wanted us to discuss in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes at most. You see, when Uhuru when he finished his term, this seat, the reason why I was bringing the issue of this seat being added by former presidents and how lucrative this seat is that you control the budget of the entire African continent. The entire African continent. That was the work of Raila Odinga. He was going to control the budget of the entire African continent. Now, for me, I feel that at some point, Uhuru wanted this job. That's how I can analyze it. Uhuru wanted this job, or Ruto had got an option of recommending either Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, but he chose Raila Odinga over Uhuru Kenyatta. That is the only way that Uhuru would have had a rift or would have not campaigned for Baba, because Uhuru wanted Baba to be in local politics. And if you wanted Baba to be in local politics, anything driving Baba away from local politics was something that Uhuru Kenyatta would be against. And that is the way I see it. Uhuru Kenyatta was against Baba being the AUC chairperson. And for reasons that he needed, he thought that he would be useful in managing the politics locally than being taken out of the equation come 2027. Because Uhuru feels that there is a lot to be done in Kenya. There is so much. There's a NADCO report. There's the BBI thing that they were thinking together with Raila Odinga. They left it halfway. NADCO pia ndio hiyo hapo. It is pending. So Uhuru, in Uhuru's kind of thinking, if I want to look at it politically, is that he really wanted to get that particular seat of AUC and let Baba concentrate with local politics. But Ruto's rivalry with Uhuru did not allow him to recommend his name for that particular position. That is how I look at it. I don't know how other people would look at that political scenario.
You are very right, Muzarendo. Uhuru did not, I think he did not want Baba to go. If he wanted, he would have campaigned for him because he has a great level of influence. But remember, they had unfinished job. And the unfinished job was to form a government with Raila Odinga. And the motive of William Ruto taking Raila Odinga to AU was not right. It was to take him away from the local politics. So whichever the reason, people should not feel like Uhuru did a bad thing. Uhuru and Raila Odinga had formed a coalition called Azimio Coalition with unfinished business. The business they had then was to prevent Ruto from becoming the president so that they may form the government, and they had their agenda. So I think Uhuru wanted them to continue with Azimio so that they may form the government next. So there is a possibility that Uhuru Kenyatta will look for Raila Odinga, and they are going to form a coalition with the like-minded people and form a government, of which I recommend, because right now we have realized that we made a very serious mistake of voting William Ruto to be the president of Kenya. And anybody who is saying that we should do away with this government, for me, I will support, because I think this is the worst form of government that we have ever had as a country. The government that does not care about how people feel, the government that does not listen to the people, the government that think that they can do anything because they're in power, the government that is very arrogant, the way they speak whenever they get the microphone. I mean, this is not the right kind of government. People who think that they can take us back to 1960s when we had a dictatorial form of government. I think anybody who feels that we should do away with this government, we shall support, and we shall vote for that kind of a person, so long as they focus on developing this country. Mzalendo, I think it's the high time we finish the show.
Yeah. I told you to give me, let Bonnie give his final remarks, and we close the show. We've done 2 hours of this particular show. Bonnie, your last final remark, even as we wind up.
I just wanted to ask the panel before we close. Between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, and Raila Amolo Odinga, who is the most influential person in the entire continent of Africa? And why?
Panel, you've got a minute or so to answer that particular question, but I would tell you one thing, even if they are trying to answer that question. After being the president of a country, you make connections beyond what the ordinary opposition leader can make. So Uhuru Kenyatta is more influential in continental politics and regional politics, in international politics and even regional politics. So that is the kind of connection that Raila Odinga doesn't have. Uhuru Kenyatta met all these presidents. He has got direct link with them. There are some trade agreements that they did together that are binding to them. They know each other's family. They know each other so well. You see, when Uhuru Kenyatta calls probably the president for Egypt, he will ask him, how is your son so and so doing? Because they have been there together. So some of these things are there, Bonnie. Can you hear me, Bonnie?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think my computer is tripping, but I just want to finish, then you wind up the show on your end. But some of these things that you see happening in politics, it is because of influence also. I don't think Raila had got that much influence. Neither did Ruto have that influence over these African leaders. Some of them have been there for a very long time, and they know each other. And Uhuru Kenyatta stepped in to support Raila's candidacy for this particular seat. Raila would have won this seat because Uhuru knows very well where they failed with Amina Abdallah the last time. With that said, I want to thank you guys for being part of this show. And even as Bonnie winds up, asante ni sana for keeping me company. Mburu asante. See you again next time. I can't see you from my end, but karibuni tena later, jioni, for another.
So Mzalendo, you can see me?
I can't see you. There's something wrong with my screen.
Okay.
I can see you, but yeah.
Well, have a beautiful day, Mzalendo, and the American people. The people in Kenya have a good night.